Today I'm gonna do something that I've never done before, and that is review a video game. And if you've been watching the BakuTalk Sunday streams, you would know that I've been streaming Defenders of the Core. And oh boy, let's talk about this. The Bakugan franchise was very successful back in the day with the simple concept of blending toys with a trading card game. I've already went through the history of this franchise many times on this channel, and with that success comes adaptations, and in this case, video games. With Bakugan being rebooted in 2020 and the new Bakugan game Champions of Vestroia coming out in the Switch, I thought it would be cool to go back through the old Bakugan games from the good old days. And I'm actually going to be working backwards here. I know Battle Brawlers came out before Defenders of the Core, but since they are actually completely different games, I thought it wouldn't matter. So we're going to start off with a game that I've been streaming lately and has captured people's attention once again, Bakugan Defenders of the Core. Bakugan Defenders of the Core is widely regarded by fans as one of the best Bakugan video games. It was released in 2010 on the DS, Wii, PSP, PS3, and Xbox 360 by Activision to tie into the New Vestroia season, although at release, Gundalian Invaders was already halfway done. Excuse me, what? Defenders of the Core was actually made to be a different kind of licensed game because it wasn't a direct copy of the real-world game. It was a game where you play as the Bakugan and you just button mash and beat up other Bakugan in monster mode. The game's fighting engine is the exact same engine used in the Dragon Ball Z games, so if you aren't a fan of Bakugan or aren't familiar with the franchise, you're in for a swell time nonetheless. For this review, I'm going to be using the PS3 version since I don't own an Xbox 360, my PSP and Wii don't work anymore, and I don't have Defenders of the Core for the DS. Apparently on the DS and PSP versions, Defenders of the Core was a better time, but let's see how it holds up on the console. You play as your own made-up character set in the Bakugan universe. Before the game begins, you have to create a character, and for some reason you can only create a boy. There's no option for you to create a girl. Oh, I'm glad feminists didn't get their hands on this game. Defenders of the Core has a very separate story than in the show. Rather than do something cliche like experiencing a plot we already experienced watching the show, the game has its own story where it seems like it could be an episode of the show. You accidentally get transported to an alternate dimension where the Vexos plan on taking over the world, so you have to save it and find a way back to your universe. Throughout the story, there are levels where you have to walk around to get from point A to point B, and you have to use stealth, collect ability cards and other things from boxes spread throughout the levels, and also collect these core energies spread throughout the levels as well. You eventually engage in the Bakugan battle where you have to fight Bakugan traps and sometimes other Bakugan. The controls for the fighting is actually very simple. You have light and heavy combo attacks, a range attack that you can charge up to blast for more damage, a dash, a block, and ability cards you can use once charged up. Ability cards can be used multiple times, though each time you have to charge them up by attacking, and their abilities can be powerful ranged attacks, combos, bonuses, or shields. There is also an option where you can combo break by pressing the L2 button, but you have to press it at the precise time. The Bakugan controls very smoothly and the graphics are alright that it's very easy to follow what's going on, and the AI is competent and well balanced. During the battles, there's usually drops that you can pick up whether they regenerate your health, increase your attack, or gate cards you can activate to change the field for a short time to damage your opponent. The game also goes by attribute advantage. Pyrus is good against Darkus but sucks against Aquos. Aquos is strong against Pyrus but sucks against Ventus. Ventus is good against Aquos but sucks against Subterra. Subterra is strong against Ventus but sucks against Chaos. Chaos is good against Subterra but sucks against Darkus. And Darkus is good against Chaos but sucks against Pyrus. Okay, yeah, you got the idea beforehand. The attribute advantage system really makes you strategize on picking your Bakugan before the battle begins. You usually try to destroy the Vexos crystals before they either kill you or destroy a landmark that you have to protect sometimes. When controlling your character in the walking and stealth parts, the camera is very disorienting. I once got caught and got sent back to the place where I get put in front of a Vexos guard and get caught once again. What the heck? The story mode though is pretty much meh. Spectre and the Vexos want to take over the world by controlling all the Bakugan, so you gotta stop him. He especially wants Drago because Drago has the pure core, so he wants Drago to gain access to the big core or something. Spectre already controls all the main protagonists of Bakugan, but once you defeat them, you capture them to use later on. A lot of the time you just find Mira, Spectra's sister. At first finding her because she potentially can help you get back to your universe, finding her again because Shadow kidnapped her, and then after losing the Maxis Helios, Mira gives Drago to Spectra but she says sorry for betraying us and then she runs off, so you have to find her again. Should have just called this game Finding Mira instead. Also, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like Dan at all!
Bakugan Duel!
Oh! Oh, that ain't Dan! For some reason, the voice actors from the anime series do not reprise their roles in Defenders of the Core. It's still unknown why this is. Bakugan still had Mechtenium Surge to make, so maybe they weren't available at the time? Who knows, it's all speculation here really. I do applaud the effort from the game cast at replicating the voices, but it's just not the same. As you progress through the story, you can actually see the difficulty spike way drastically. It gets even worse when you're forced to fight multiple enemies at once. Some levels force you to protect multiple landmarks, and if even one of them gets destroyed, you lose. The USA levels are very bad at that. The problem is that the targeting system only allows you to fight one enemy at a time, while the other enemies can chip away at your decoy tower or landmark, or blindside you and kill you. Oftentimes I just use a dash attack to knock an enemy down, and then move on to the next one and hopefully kill them before I get ambushed and killed. The level in Egypt is the worst one for me. That took me a good 45 minutes to finish with multiple attempts because the enemies have huge knockback attacks that they can just spam to fling me across the map so they can eat my landmark. That wasn't fun. And every time you fight against Altair, all he does is run and barely attempts to actually beat you. Altair is not difficult, it's just really annoying. Later down the line in the story, you can evolve your Bakugan after Dragonoid evolves into Cross Dragonoid, and each mission you complete, you evolve another Bakugan until all of them have evolved. At the end, you play as Maxis Dragonoid and fight Maxis Helios. You have to destroy Abyss first and then go after Helios because Helios can regenerate himself every time. Maxis Dragonoid's charge range is long, but 3 seconds after it's unleashed, it doesn't do anything and leaves Drago open to attack for another 3 seconds. I only won this level by spamming the circle button because for some reason that does a lot more than any other attack Drago has. Afterwards, your character goes back to his own universe, and that old guy that the Vexos answers to is never seen or has any relevance to the story. The story mode isn't really all that interesting when telling a narrative. It's very nonsensical and the gameplay that follows gets really repetitive. The only reason you would want to play the story mode is if you want to unlock more Bakugan and cards for multiplayer mode, and upgrade your Bakugan to the max. At the end, you can practically hear the writers go, "Screw it, we hit 4 hours, we're done." It's a fun game to stream, but it's repetitive as heck. Maybe if they added more to the walking levels, like actual platforming as well as other mechanics than just running around, collecting stuff and avoid being caught, then maybe it would be better and would add more variety to the game to keep playing. Because I noticed some cores that are high that require me to jump, but I don't have a jump button. The only way I can get it is by yeeting a Bakugan at it, or sometimes it's in the middle of the river. Just add some more mechanics and keep it interesting. Game card set! Well, that's a lie. Alright, so we played through the whole story. The figures don't really do anything, and there's not much really of a reward for finishing the game. So, yeah, I guess we're done. Haven't tried the other Bakugan. Might as well try all the content. In Battle Arena mode, attribute matchup is just thrown out the window so that it can be an even fight. It's a place where you can just test drive your Bakugan and get used to its controls and attacks, but also have fun fights split screen with your friends. Going through the characters, I noticed a few things in how they play. Alphen and Elico are fast ground fighters but have attacks that more or less tickle you. Their combos can be broken easily and you can just step to the side when you are facing their charged range attack since it just shoots straight. Wildum, Nemus, and Percival are slow but have very decent attacks, but their gameplay feels very heavy. Altair has a very weak charged attack and his attacks barely feel like they do anything, but Altair can just fly around. No wonder he runs from you every time in the story mode. Vulcan has very heavy but very devastating combo plays. His charge range attack isn't even a ranged attack because he just smashes the ground, and if any opponent is stupid enough to get close, they'll get knocked back. Helios more or less plays like Drago, but his charge range attack is absolute joke. It's no wonder Helios is so easy to beat in the story mode. Hades is the closest I have to Alpha Hydronoid since Alpha Hydronoid isn't in this game. No Hydronoid! Licky what? His combo attack and overall style revolves around blasting my opponent with Dark Fire. His charge range shoots in 3 directions and is able to hit my enemy even if they sidestep. But 2 of the most powerful Bakugan I've found is Ingram and Brontes. Ingram is fast, revolves around combos, and her charged ranged attack is shooting 2 shurikens that are actually heat seekers, so they are bound to hit 90% of the time and stagger you. Ingram attacks way too fast that you would be lucky to even pull off a combo breaker at the perfect time. Brontes has really heavy combos but moves so fast that you can barely catch up with him. He also has a charge range attack that stuns you, a status ailment that no other Bakugan actually has in this game. While you're stunned, Brontes can use an ability card and attack combo to chunk away at your health and repeat the process over and over again until you die. I know this because I spammed the combo while test driving him and nothing actually stopped me from doing it over and over and over again. Brontes is freaking broken! When you finish the story mode, you can play it again but with Vex's Bakugan unlocked as well, which is actually pretty cool because then I can use Hades instead of Percival in the story mode. Playing the story mode again gives you the chance to unlock Max's Helios, where you have to find his traps and additional boxes thrown in the levels. I unlocked him, and Helios again plays more or less like Max's Drago, but Max's Helios I can't spam the uncharged range to deal a lot of damage. Max's Helios instead has really heavy combos that deals a lot of damage, but his movement speed is really slow. What I've found is that Helios is able to combo break easily though. Ingram and Brontes are more or less still the best Bakugan in this game. You know, going through this game, I'm sorta iffy on this. We have a very lackluster story, but still a very good fighting game, so I'm sort of 50-50 on this. Defenders of the Core is still a fun game to play, but it's only going to be fun in your first playthrough. As soon as you're done, there's nothing else to do except start everything all over again. There's not even a reward for collecting all of these figures either. The battling between two Bakugan is still really cool to see, and it is different than what the real game is. Not every time is it required to put the real world games into video game form. Sometimes it's just good to have something different. The story mode really seemed dependent on people being familiar with the Bakugan franchise for it to be enjoyable, but as a Bakugan fan myself, it didn't actually work. I found it really repetitive and very nonsensical. But regardless, the gameplay is still an enjoyable time whether you're a fan of the franchise or not. And for the really low price for a copy, if you're looking for a simple Bakugan game or a button-mashing monster fighting game that isn't that horrid Godzilla PS4 game, then Defenders of the Core is a good pick. So that was Defenders of the Core, and it's alright I guess. For the low price point, if you're just looking for a regular monster mashing fighting game, this one's a pretty good pick and you're in for an exciting time. But let me know what you guys think of Defenders of the Core in the comments down below, and if you want to see me play more of these Bakugan games, I stream every Sunday and it's always good to hang out with my viewers and come chat about Bakugan while I suck at this. And you definitely don't want to miss out on the stream, especially since we got the original Bakugan Battle Brawlers video game to look at, so you definitely don't want to miss out. Support BakuTalk by pressing the thumbs up and give us a subscribe for more awesome Bakugan content. I've been Haru, and that was Defenders of the Core. Bye!